Lincoln 103, 5 Lincoln 102, Lincoln 103 and 102.
Responding to 401 Park Instructor, Section 1 boy.
Henry 8, Henry 9. Respond to gate 437 Bravo for your dignitary detail. 3K 911 unattended, 400 lower level near Carousel 4, black bag. GTA in progress, 401 Park Instructor, Section 4 boy.
Responding to 401 Park Instructor, Section 1 boy.
415 passenger onboard aircraft.
Control 2 Franklin en route.
484 suspect, female, Hispanic, 28 years of age, blue jeans, no further.
Control 5 Frank 401 is en route.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Private Officer Beat Radio, a production of Private Officer International and Blue Ram Media Group, LLC. I am your host, Rick McCann, founder and CEO of Private Officer. And, today we're going to be talking primarily about cold cases, how law enforcement actively investigates the homicides of private security, if there's any investigation being done in police agencies when a security officer is assaulted. And we're also going to be talking about the Private Officer International Cold Case Unit and how we are expanding it starting in March. If you're not already aware of our involvement in cold cases and in homicides of private security and private law enforcement, that's a shame, because we've been doing it almost since the beginning of the association. But 2 years ago, January of 2022, we announced the forming of our cold case unit. And today on the program, we're going to talk about the cases that we have been involved in and the results. I know that our office sent out an updated press release over the weekend, and I hope that you did receive it. Of course, if you haven't, contact help desk at privateofficer.com. And you can sign up right now for just $29 a year. Not a month, not a day, not a week, a year. A substantial decrease in the $50 annual fee that we were asking. Now, this is just a special. It won't last forever. So sign up today, or go to your email and send us an email at helpdesk@privateofficer.com. The newsletters and the press releases and the training announcements and statistical information that we send out, you just can't find any place else. People say, well, I can get it, I just have to go to Google. Now, that's true. You might get some of that information, but there's a lot of proprietary in-house information that you're definitely not going to get, especially like the press release that was sent out over the weekend talking about the expansion of the cold case unit, what we're going to be doing, and who it involves, and how you can get involved. And in fact, today on the program, we'll talk about some added tools, including a streaming program that shares information, videos, and photos of wanted suspects, not only for homicides of security and private law enforcement, but also of those wanted for aggravated assault. Remember, you can also read our news 24/7 at privateofficerbreakingnews.blogspot.com, and join us on social media at Facebook.com/Private Officer and Twitter.com/Private Officer. We're extending some of our radio broadcasting as well as continuing to work on our streaming TV platform. Many probably think we've forgotten about it, but we haven't. A lot of things have been happening around here. We've had COVID, we've had some in-house medical problems, and a lot of situations that have delayed but not canceled much of what we're doing. When I come back from this first break, we're going to talk about some things in the headlines and also where you can get some free training or very inexpensive training in the upcoming months, as well as our expanded cold case unit. You're listening to the voice of the Frontline Protector right here on the Private Officer Beat. Body Armor USA, we've got what it takes to protect you. Whether you're looking for the top quality protective armor or protective clothing, stab-resistant vest or gloves, contact my friend Ben over at Body Armor USA. Give him a call, 516 area code 817-1666. Again, that's area code 516-817-1666. Body Armor USA, we've got what it takes to protect you. No doubt about it. During the next 2 months, we'll be holding several free, no-cost trainings. In fact, we've already just begun several of these in Virginia. We are giving away right now to security personnel free CPR, Stop the Bleed, and Narcan certification training. The training is being conducted throughout the state and into parts of North Carolina over the next 60 days. If you're a security officer in that region, contact us at helpdesk@privateofficer.com and we'll let you know where these events are taking place. There is limited seating, so you do need to contact us right away. We are also preparing 2 different free webinars which will be announcing the dates and times. Not only will you be able to take these on the day that they're being sponsored, but also you'll have the ability to take these on demand, which means anytime, any place, you can click on that webinar and be able to view it and get a certificate of attendance as well. We have many other situations and events and things happening here at Private Officer International, as well as in several other entities. One of those is the first ever National Private Law Enforcement Special Police Conference. This is being held in Virginia, and it will be held in May. More announcements will be coming out. We have already picked the spot. Although this is geared toward private law enforcement, special police officers, we will open up the event to private security, investigators, retail loss prevention, etc., and we'll make more announcements of that in the upcoming weeks. This is a very special and unique event. We've had a lot of interest over the years from not only the metropolitan Virginia area of private law enforcement, but also in other parts of the country, including Ohio, Michigan, New York, and New Jersey. We have talked about doing this, but we've never really had a lot of success in our conferences with private security, and so that's been part of the hesitation. Now we have quite a bit of interest from special police, our private law enforcement agency in Virginia and the D.C. Metro has been training private law enforcement for quite a while, but just in the last year, we have seen companies rev up that training and get their people sworn in for obvious reasons, lack of law enforcement, also because of slow response. Private law enforcement can make their own arrest, transport the prisoner to the magistrate or to the jail, and is fully responsible for their prisoner. If you want more information, all that you have to do is contact us at helpdesk@privateofficer.com, and we'll be sure to send you information, but more details, marketing, etc. will be coming out over the next few weeks. We have worked with a number of private law enforcement agencies, colleges that have private police, and also recently with Virginia and 2 other states with their regulatory agencies. We have interest coming out of Louisiana as well to work with us in upgrading the training requirements in that state. And if you live there, we sure would like to have you on board. Contact us at helpdesk@privateofficer.com. So much going on. We're just at the cusp of the beginning of the year, just at the beginning of 2024. But when I come back, I do have several different very important and serious situations to talk about. So don't go away. You're listening to the voice of the Frontline Protector, a production of Blue Ram Media Group LLC and Private Officer International.
With school back in session, help us keep our kids safe. When school crossing signs are posted, do not drive faster than 50 miles per hour until you're through the crosswalk. Do not pass other vehicles, even if they're driving slower than the speed limit. Passing means any part of your vehicle overtaking any part of their vehicle. You don't have to completely pass the other driver for it to be a violation. When you see anyone in the crosswalk, you must come to a full stop until they're completely out of the crosswalk. Remember, we don't want to write you a ticket. We just want to keep our school crossings accident-free.
Are you looking for the finest private security officer training in the Charlotte metropolitan area? Do you need PPS qualifications in armed or unarmed training? Or maybe you're over there across the line in South Carolina and you need the SLED training. Well, we've got the right training at the right time for you. Premier Training Academy, located at 5624 Executive Center Drive, Suite 142 in metropolitan Charlotte, North Carolina. Give them a call today, 704-806-4933. They also offer firearms training, personal protection, first aid and CPR, and so much more. Call John at 704-806-4933. All right, I just told you a few moments ago about some opportunities for free training, both online and in person. And there's one more opportunity, which I think many people are going to be happy to hear about because, well, we've had a lot of people register for it in previous times that we've offered it. And that is the Armor College Citizens Police Academy. This online academy, totally free, will be scheduled to begin in March. You'll be notified in the next week by email. Of course, I'm announcing it now. You'll also find it at our Armor College website, armorcollege.org, and you'll be hearing a lot more about that in the upcoming days and weeks. This is an online Citizens Police Academy. I know that when we've run this several times before, we had an overflow of registrants, and hopefully we will have that again. So if you're interested in learning all about how police do their job, what their job entails, and a whole lot more, hold on. We'll be sending that information out to you soon. Another very big announcement that we have today is starting June of this year, we are sponsoring a junior public safety academy. This is for high schoolers, especially sophomores and seniors, but really anybody in high school, and we may even advance that to allow those who are in community college or their first year of college. But the Junior Public Safety Academy is something we've worked with several other similar academies in Florida and in California, and we hope to be able to get those details out as well. Primarily, we are going to be working with local school systems. Some already sponsor various areas of public safety. One of our local high schools offers a fire cadet program where they train with real firefighters in real fire situations, and they go through a simulated process as well as a real hands-on training. So we're excited to be able to partner with various school systems, and we'll let you know more about that as well. Several things have hit my desk over the last week that are really just concerning, devastating to some degree, and I'm pretty sure that most people aren't aware of it. Now, we try to make the information available as quickly as we can. Unfortunately, a lot of people no longer receive our newsletters or go to our social media, but 4 off-duty security officers have been targeted, according to law enforcement, and murdered. 3 of these in the state of California, the 4th in the state of Ohio. A security officer by the name of Keith Longwood in California, who generally works at nightclubs and apartment complexes, left work January the 18th, and several hours later, police found him dead inside his vehicle, shot in the head. Investigators didn't really have a whole lot to say, but just recently they announced to the media they believe that the security officer's death was work-related, but they didn't go into any other details. A second California security officer has been shot and killed in Hawthorne, California, during an altercation outside a restaurant. Now, his family said he had just gotten off from work. 57-year-old Eddie McAllister had gone to a restaurant at 3301 Rosecrans Avenue called Fabulous Burgers. It was around 2 a.m. in the morning. Like I said, his family said he had just left work. The family believes that he was followed to the restaurant from his job, but they don't know why. They don't have any indication as to any reason behind this, but video clearly shows that he soon, after arriving at this Fabulous Burgers, he soon gets into some type of altercation with a man there for no reason, and then he is shot to death. His family says McAllister left behind 5 children and a grandchild. Police say the investigation is ongoing. They're searching for a motive and a suspect, but they really don't know what, who, where, why. They can't answer any of those questions. But his family is convinced that he may have been targeted by someone at the job site where he was, who followed him to the restaurant. A third California security officer, identified as Carlos Beltran, was killed in L.A., Los Angeles. The 40-year-old was shot in the head at around 1 a.m. this past Friday. his family also believes he may have been targeted. His bank card, his cell phone, and even his vehicle itself was not stolen. Nothing on him was missing. Carlos has an extended family and often worked overnight as a security officer and was up frequently late and in a lot of different environments where there were problems. LAPD says they don't have a lot of leads to go on. They are looking for area surveillance. They are going through a lot of different materials, details, video, etc. But right now, they don't have any information to share about a possible suspect. 3 off-duty security officers, seemingly all targeted in California. But it doesn't stop on the West Coast, because over in Dayton, Ohio, which is Montgomery County, the sheriff there recently talked to local reporters about an off-duty security officer who was murdered there. According to Sheriff Rob Streck, he's 100% sure that this security officer was targeted and murdered right after he left work. The off-duty nightclub security officer was shot and killed inside his vehicle Monday morning. The Montgomery Sheriff's Department arrived in the 4100 block of Germantown Pike to find the off-duty security officer dead with a bullet wound in his head in his vehicle. Now, according to the sheriff, they have information that indicates that the murderer waited for the security officer to come out of his job, get into his vehicle, and as soon as he did, the sheriff says he was shot to death. The Montgomery County Coroner's Office identified the victim but has not released his name, but Facebook post identifies the victim as Darnell Pate. Now, local news media has confirmed that the victim has worked as a police officer for several local police agencies and was still working part-time as a law enforcement officer. The sheriff, Sheriff Streck, says this kind of violence was not spur of the moment, nor was it an emotional reaction. It was planned, probably far in advance. The sheriff says, we 100% believe this was a targeted murder. The sheriff's office does not know the motive for the attack, but they're working on it, and they're asking that anyone who has had any information whatsoever call 937-225-4357. This is terrible. This is greater than tragic. It is something that we're seeing increasing almost on a yearly basis. Now, I had our office take a look back. I know that there's been other proven targeted murders of off-duty security officers, especially those just coming off duty and either getting into their vehicle or driving home. Since 2010, Private Officer International has recorded and confirmed 27 murders of off-duty security officers that have been attributed by law enforcement directly to their job. So in other words, no doubt about it, police have confirmed that something at their job, something at their work contributed to these murders. And this, my friend, is something that I believe is going to increase, just like on-duty murders and aggravated assaults are increasing steadily. And the reason for that is people get into a situation, and rather than kill the security officer there in front of other people, they just wait for him. They just tail him. They know where he lives. They know where he hangs out. They know where he shops. I remember a couple of years ago in New York, a security officer who was on his way to work had stopped at a local convenience store, and someone had been following him, unbeknownst to him, and killed him the moment that he came out of the convenience store. This is something we need to unite about. We need to find ways to better protect ourselves on and off duty. If you have any suggestions, comments, please write helpdesk@privateofficer.com. Another situation this past week in Virginia has many private law enforcement officers and security company owners who have private law enforcement concerned. I've talked over the years about police officer line of duty benefits. This is something that is a given by the Department of Justice. It's written into the law. Any public safety official, police officer, correctional officer, EMT, paramedic, anyone working on behalf of public safety is guaranteed, their family is guaranteed specific benefits. Some of that is cash, some of that is free scholarships to college for the children, and other benefits including burial and being added to the memorial wall and so forth. But for private law enforcement, whether you're working for a private college such as Armour College or Vanderbilt University is a private college, or George Washington University, or any of those, if an officer is killed, a sworn officer, there are no benefits to the family. Now recently, last year, I told you about a private police officer working at a resort community who had extra jurisdiction authority through the sheriff's department and responded to an incident first reported as a trespasser or a domestic, and that officer was shot and killed. His family was not able to collect any of those line of duty benefits, was not able to have the funeral paid for, was not able to do anything. The police officer worked for the Wintergreen Police Department, a private police force that is accredited at the highest level, like any police department might be, and yet his family could not get any benefits. Nelson County, Virginia, is where this murder of this police officer happened, and when they heard about this, they and several other local communities gathered together, contacted their local senators, and put together a fund, raised some money to pay for the funeral and other expenses to the family. They then got together with local legislators and put together a measurement, a bill, that would extend the Line of Duty Act benefits to private police departments, not only in Virginia, but nationwide. In Virginia, it was called House Bill 232. It sought to allow roughly 123 police officers on Virginia non-private college campuses and 350 officers with other private police departments to be eligible for benefits. But the bill, which was referred to a House Public Safety Subcommittee, voted 4-2, January the 18th, not to consider it. Now, Jesse Rutherford is a member of the Nelson County Board of Supervisors, expressed disappointment. Mark Christopher Wagner was a police officer in Wintergreen. His family, his community, very upset. A number of other communities were involved in pushing forward this piece of legislation, and they say this will not be the end. We will continue to push forward on this bill. Although it lost a lot of steam, they say, there's still hope that the Senate will take it up. And in the meantime, residents of the state are asked to reach out to legislators to get this moved forward in the Senate. What does this all mean to you? Well, like I just said a few moments ago, many private security officers are now being sworn in as law enforcement. And there's over 30 states that have private law enforcement. In the Virginia metropolitan area, D.C., Pennsylvania, Maryland, New York, Massachusetts, all of the East Coast cities have a law that allows private law enforcement. And you will see this continue to extend throughout the country. These are very important situations to consider. These are very important matters that we need to band together and work together to get something done. Safety is priority one. Whether you are a security officer or a private law enforcement, we can all agree that we need to have better training. We need to have better protection, better equipment, and these things will not stop. They will not cease. We need to jump on the bandwagon now before they really do get out of hand, and really at this point they are. We're going to take another quick break. I've got a lot of breaking news to talk about, and then I have another very serious topic to bring you. Again, you are listening to the voice of the Frontline Protector here on the Private Officer Beat Radio.
Human trafficking is slavery.
And it happens all over America. Any child, any woman, any man could potentially become a victim of human trafficking.
I am a victim of labor trafficking.
I was a victim of child sex trafficking, but now I own my body.
Human trafficking is any kind of forced labor.
It can happen to anybody.
I am a mother.
I am an author.
I am a son.
I'm an advocate.
I am an educator.
I'm a sister.
I am a brother.
I'm so much more than what happened to me.
I am strong.
I am brave.
I am outspoken.
I am compassionate.
I am a survivor.
I'm a survivor.
I am a survivor.
I am a survivor.
I am a survivor.
I am a survivor of human trafficking.
Well, I've already brought you quite a bit of news, but in other news happenings across the country, a female has been arrested for stabbing a Tulsa, Oklahoma security officer. The suspect has been identified as Savannah Talley, and she's accused of assault with a deadly weapon on a police officer and assault and battery with a deadly weapon on a security officer. This happening at the Goat Bar and Kitchen. Police said the bar was hosting a birthday party when the fight got out of hand. Talley took a knife and began slicing away at law enforcement and security. Another stabbing was reported in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Police there said a security officer was stabbed at the Columbia St. Mary's Hospital. This occurred on Monday morning. The call came in at about 6 a.m. An 18-year-old was taken into custody after stabbing the security officer. No one else was hurt. A man has been arrested in Philadelphia after abandoning a baby child during a shoplifting incident. Police there say the man left a 3-month-old girl abandoned in the store. Police now have arrested 22-year-old Alganin Mohammed and charged him with multiple different offenses. A man in Edinburgh, Texas was arrested after threatening to shoot a hospital security officer. 18-year-old Moses Rodriguez is charged with terroristic threatening, assault on a peace officer, resisting arrest, evading arrest, possession of marijuana, possession of controlled substance, and he failed to identify himself. The incident occurred on Saturday at 10 a.m. at the Edinburgh Regional Children's Hospital. Police said the man told staff that he had a gun and he was going to shoot the place up. A security officer then tried to intervene. Rodriguez told him he would kill him if he didn't get out of the way. Police arrived and conducted a sweep through several floors and located the suspect in the facility and took him into custody. Also coming out of Milwaukee, a security guard was killed in a triple shooting. This happened on Sunday at a restaurant bar that was attached to the Diamond Inn Motel. The 26-year-old security officer has not been identified. he was trying to de-escalate a situation, and we'll get his name out to you as soon as it's revealed. A Georgia State Trooper was killed in a crash. This happened over the weekend. According to the Department of Public Safety, the Georgia State Trooper was killed on duty. According to authorities, his name was not released, although I've been told it has been released since then. A Wichita, Kansas man was sentenced in the murder of a Quick Trip convenience store security officer. A 44-year-old security officer was killed. This happened in 2021. Leroy Monzel West has since been convicted of first-degree premeditated murder in the security officer's death. Will Robinson was that security officer working at the convenience store. According to public records, the suspect now has been sentenced to more than 40 years in prison. In Virginia, West Virginia, police there are not happy about a new bill that was recently passed to allow schools to hire private security officers. Law enforcement says that they have been school resource officers, but House Bill 4851 now has changed the rules and says that schools may hire their own private security officers. According to the Harrison County School Board, this will help them to better afford more security. A man bit off a security officer's ear while they tussled at a Columbus, Ohio bus station. According to police, the 27-year-old man got into an argument after a security officer told him he couldn't be smoking a vape. He was also drinking a beer. During the fight, police say that the man bit off part of the security officer's ear. The suspect was later arrested nearby, according to police. Also coming out of Austin, Texas, an arrest warrant now has been filed for the shooting of a Top Golf security officer. If you're not sure what that is, Top Golf is a entertainment center for golfing. According to police, Brett James Eldred is wanted for aggravated assault against a security officer, a felony in the state of Texas. A contracted security guard in South Carolina has been arrested after he brought contraband into Alvin S. Glenn Detention Center. The contract security officer was working for the Richland County Sheriff's Department. 23-year-old Zaria Watson was charged after a canine hit on their vehicle. In Texarkana, Texas, a father and son is charged with beating a mall security officer. Daniel Lynn Thomas, 38, and Richard Hoff, Jr., both assaulted the Central Mall security officer. Both of them have been charged with several other accounts besides assault. Men have been arrested after assaulting a security officer and a bar owner. This happened in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Police said they've been charged with assault, trespassing, breach of peace. A school security officer in Covington, Kentucky, saved an 8th grader from choking. He's been honored last week for his heroic efforts. Marcus Beenham has been a security officer for several years. According to the principal, 8th grader Brandon Smith was choking. According to the security officer, he was just doing his job. This happened in the cafeteria of the school. A Washington, D.C. security officer has been beaten and robbed. According to the D.C. police, it happened while he was on duty at 2:25 in the morning in the 3200 block of P Street. He suffered lacerations and injuries and had to be taken to the hospital. The suspect fled in a Honda Pilot, but according to police, they have no other leads or suspects at this time. A security guard in Springfield, Missouri, has been accused in a shooting that injured 4 people. He now faces federal charges. Timothy Janelle Smith has been charged by a federal grand jury with being in possession of a firearm in the shooting event. He's also been charged with unlawful use of a weapon, aggravated assault. A witness allegedly told the deputies that Smith, whose wife was also working security at an event, attempted to break up a fight involving several people, and when that didn't work, he pulled out an AR-style rifle and began shooting into the ceiling, sending 4 victims to the hospital. According to police, he was not supposed to be allowed to carry a weapon and faces other charges as well. A Los Angeles security guard was found shot in the head. Police are still investigating that case. Coming out of Seattle, Washington, as I wrap up the news, a security guard who was initially called a hero because he stopped an armed robbery is now being called a suspect. According to authorities, Joshua Shoemake was protecting Whole Foods in Seattle when a woman walked in and tried to rob the store at gunpoint. However, Shoemake recognized that the gun didn't have a magazine. He was able to talk her out of the store, and even though he was armed, get her in custody and waited for the police. Now he's facing possible criminal charges because he was not allowed to have a gun or a taser because he's been charged with multiple crimes and was on probation. When you see news happening, please contact us, helpdesk@privateofficer.com. We'll be right back.
There was the explosion, and I remember just opening my eyes, and it got both of my legs. I had surgery after surgery, and what's going to happen next? The Wounded Warrior Project said, look, brother, everything's going to be okay. 3 months from now, 4 months from now, a year from now, you'll be fine. I don't know if I would be as well adjusted as I am now if it wasn't for them.
To learn more, call 1-877-832-6997 or visit woundedwarriorproject.org.
Almost since the inception of our organization, which has been 20 plus years ago, we have assisted with cold cases involving murdered security officers. We have formed a committee previously to work with Crime Stoppers throughout the country. Crime Stoppers offer rewards to entice folks to call in or email or notify them of information that could lead to the arrest and prosecution of a suspect. And many times, murders of individuals, law enforcement, and even private security are solved through the fact that money is being offered for information. Let's not kid ourselves. Money is used to get almost anything we want these days, and you would think that Good Samaritans would just do it for free, but money definitely entices them. We have done minimal fundraising for these revenues, for this money to help to use not only for Crime Stoppers, but for officers killed in the line of duty, families, assistants, and so forth. About 2 years ago, we established a more definite cold case investigation unit. The CCIU, made up of volunteers, has worked on a number of cases, 9 cold cases to be exact. We have worked with law enforcement on several cases, gathering information, details, and we have offered, in the last few years, Crime Stoppers rewards on 5 homicides. With a limited funding, limited involvement with private security or private businesses, we're handcuffed as to what we can do and what we can offer, because everything takes money. As I've been talking almost for 6 months now about our newsletters, it takes money to pay people to curate the news, to find the information, to compile the statistics, and also with any cold case investigation, it takes a lot of man hours, and eventually, even if we're using folks who volunteer their time of service, we have to pay somewhere down the line someone for something to try and get these cases solved. Sometimes it's advertisement, sometimes it's Crime Stoppers, sometimes there's various other rewards that we offer through the public that doesn't go directly through Crime Stoppers. Now, I'm happy to say that of the 9 homicide cases, police did eventually make arrests in 6 of them, not directly related to our information or involvement, but there was one case where we were able to provide further information, and we want to work hand in hand with more law enforcement agencies in doing this. With the rise of aggravated officer assaults and murders, we are expanding the cold case unit to include 3 more investigators and a brand new tool. We've already had interest from 2 well-qualified, 1 retired law enforcement officer, 1 retired hospital security director, who wants to become involved in this unit. So beginning in March, we're going to add several new tools. We've already assigned 1 team member to act as a liaison to law enforcement. They will directly work with law enforcement and prosecutors in the murder cases of security officers or security officers who were assaulted with a weapon, who were badly injured. Another team member will work with media outlets to disseminate true, accurate, and updated case information, something that we have been lax in because of staffing. Also starting in March, Private Officer International will stream on a channel and highlight information on persons of interest, known suspects. We will also provide real-time updates, videos of the incident if available, pictures of anyone law enforcement is interested in speaking to, a person of interest in either an assault or a murder of any security or private law enforcement officer killed in the line of duty. And while police departments do, I know for a fact, treat each homicide equally, manpower continues to be an issue. In fact, so much so that you may have read in some of our newsletters or on the internet or heard elsewhere that some law enforcement, some police agencies have now hired citizen investigators as fact finders to research information, to interview persons, to gather video and other assets to help forward the investigation of crimes, including homicides. POI has also partnered with several new resources to initiate this enhanced cold case unit. We already have contacts with several major police departments that we have worked with over the years. This unit is now structured to investigate unsolved homicides, research data and information about the case, find new evidence, whether that be video that has not been gathered or pictures or witnesses, will work with and network with multiple resources, law enforcement agencies, prosecutors, and even local private investigators. Our goal here is to resolve as many of these cases as possible, whether that be through prosecution. I will tell you that last year we found a suspect, along with law enforcement, who was not only a person of interest and a suspect, but we and law enforcement knew that this person had committed the murder of the security officer, but unfortunately he was already dead. The wanted suspect was already deceased and was unable, unfortunately, to be prosecuted. Currently in the U.S., there's no other private CCU cold case unit operating in this manner for private security or private law enforcement. And with the help of retired and current law enforcement, members of POI, friends of POI, and others who have gotten involved and now have come forward, others want to be involved, I really believe that we'll be able to open up more cold case homicides and aggravated assault cases now, and really put our effort into many other cases. This is not pie in the sky. It's not something that, well, it's a good idea, but it's not going to happen. It has happened, it is happening, and it will happen. And here's how you can get involved. Number one, like I said earlier, we really need funding. Funding to enhance what we're able to offer to Crime Stoppers. Crime Stoppers is not a international organization to the aspect of it's all connected. Many are separate, like the Houston Crime Stoppers. It's just for Houston. You may or may not know that many of these offices work independently. Some do work jointly, and we want to work with more of them. And we can do that by offering cash rewards for information leading to the arrest and conviction of someone who's murdered a security officer or a private law enforcement officer. The other way that you can get involved is by donating some of your time. We need people who are researchers, people who can look up the current case status, people who can maybe do some interviewing with people who may have witnessed something involving the case that we're working on. And there are many different jobs, tasks, assignments that you can be involved in. The work can be done at your house, your office, or any place. Unfortunately, like I said, this is a volunteer position at this time. I do believe that we'll be able to transition soon over to several paid positions. If you do want to donate to Private Officer International for this effort, you can go to privateofficer.org and click on the Officer Down page, and there'll be a PayPal donation tab, and you'll be able to donate and specifically earmark it for the cold case unit, or maybe you want to earmark it for the Memorial, Officer Down Memorial Fund, or something in between. If you do have any interest whatsoever of being involved, volunteering some of your time, please contact us at helpdesk@privateofficer.com. I think you're going to find that this is a very unique opportunity, but even more than that, it's going to be extremely rewarding, especially if our tips, our information directly solves the case. Helpdesk@privateofficer.com. Thank you for being here today. That's going to conclude our radio show one more time. And till the next time, y'all be blessed, be safe, and we'll see you back here on the radio.